Keqing's fast attacks puts her in the main DPS spot for some players. This real estate agent isn't only quick in dealing with unpaid loans, as she's also fast in dispatching different in-game enemies. Still, optimizing her damage output may require the best supporting teammates. I'm JJ, and let's take a deep dive into the best possible teammates for Keqing. Before proceeding, please note that this guide is not aimed at restricting player preference and playstyle. Also, if some areas of this video are the same or highly similar to other guides, the information is coincidental. The acquired data does not aim to copy other existing guides on the internet. With that out of the way, let's first talk about Keqing's playstyle. As many might already know, Keqing specializes in quick attacks. If used correctly, her flurry of strikes can create multiple openings for frequent damage capabilities. Based on her skills and talents, players may choose to go with one of two routes for building this character, Electro or Physical. Building Keqing based on her element might mean optimizing elemental reactions and the Electro resonance. The Electro charge and overload reactions might become ideal choices for clearing groups of enemies. Hence, pairing Keqing with Hydro and Pyro Vision users would be ideal for accomplishing these goals. On the other hand, building Keqing as a physical damage dealer might require players to utilize the Superconduct elemental reaction to reduce enemy physical resistance by 40%. Because of these choices, Keqing's choices for her teammates are quite limited, especially when compared to the Cryo and Pyro users such as Ganyu and Hu Tao. Speaking of Hu Tao, if you want to check out which characters pair well with her, check out this video in the card up top or click on the link found on the description below. If players want to opt for building a party with Keqing as the main DPS while utilizing her Electro capabilities, it might become an expensive investment. One team composition that some players might use is with Fischl, Mona, and Sucrose or Venti. With the right equipment, this team composition almost guarantees that Keqing will have her ultimate ready and waiting. Fischl can provide consistent Electro damage thanks to Oz. Plus, the two Electro users in a party produces the Electro Resonance, which grants increased energy recharge for the entire team. Use Venti with the Sacrificial Bow or the Favonius War Bow for extra energy particles. If players don't have Venti, then Sucrose equipped with the Favonius Codex or Sacrificial Fragments will still work well. Finally, Mona can provide extra damage with her debuff while implementing the Electrocharge reactions to enemies. Again, if players don't have Mona, Xingqiu can be a great replacement. However, if players use Xingqiu, then it might be better to take advantage of Keqing's elemental skills and normal attacks to make the most out of the Water Boy's elemental burst. Using Mona, on the other hand, can be a better choice for spamming Keqing's elemental burst. Some of you might ask, why not Beidou instead of Fischl? Beidou's ultimate skill may still be a great choice to work as an Electro support for Keqing, but this good-willed pirate has a high energy cost for ultimate. In comparison, Fischl can use her elemental skill for that purpose, which only requires her to wait for the cooldown to end instead of gathering energy particles and orbs. Another option is to take advantage of the Overload elemental reaction, but before we proceed, keep in mind that Overload may make some enemies fly in different directions. Chasing enemies may lower Keqing's damage potential as there would be a pause between attacks. However, if players can find a place that's small enough to reduce the instances where Keqing would constantly run around, Overload might become a suitable preference. Building Keqing's team with Overload in mind takes advantage of Pyro characters in her team. With that in mind, Bennett, Xiangling, and Amber comes to mind. Other Pyro characters, such as Klee and Diluc, might not be suitable for a team with Keqing as the main DPS. The reason being is that Klee, Diluc, and some similar Pyro characters tend to have selfish skills and talents. Therefore, they don't offer much utility for the team other than helping with the Overload reaction. Bennett, Xiangling, and Amber, on the other hand, have support skills and talents that can greatly benefit Keqing and the damage dealt from the Overload reaction. Bennett's ult can increase Keqing's overall attack and heal her as well. The pepper Xiangling's Goba leaves behind also deals a similar attack boosting effect. Also, her Pyronado can help with frequent Overload reactions. Finally, Amber, especially when she's at C6, can boost Keqing's attack when this Outrider casts her ult. Also, putting two Pyro users in the team will activate the Pyro Resonance effect, which boosts the entire party's attack damage. The final spot for this team can be another Electro user for the Electro Resonance, which players might prefer Fischl over Razor, Lisa, or Beidou. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to this channel for more Genshin Impact content. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you really like this video. Utilizing Keqing's physical damage capabilities might be a cheaper alternative than taking advantage of her Electro attacks and skills. It's because players would mostly prioritize in the Superconduct reaction to maximize Keqing's damage output. With that in mind, perhaps all Cryo users in the game pairs well with the Superconduct team with Keqing. Ganyu's Elemental Burst rains Ice Shards for 15 seconds, which pairs nicely with Keqing's elemental skill. Qiqi can supply Cryo damage with her elemental skill, albeit at a slower pace than Ganyu. However, Qiqi can also heal Keqing if the need arises. Chongyun's Elemental Burst can start the Superconduct elemental reaction, albeit his elemental skill infuses Keqing's swords with Cryo, so keep that in mind if you're planning to use this exorcist. Diona can supply extra survivability to Keqing and other other party members with her elemental skill and burst. Finally, Kaya is the free-to-play option, but he can still supply sufficient cryo damage and superconduct with his elemental skill and burst. Also, since players would only need one spot in the party for a cryo user for a physical Keqing build, there are still 2 other spots left for other characters. With that in mind, players may choose to use 2 Geo characters for the Geo Resonance buff. Again, all Geo characters can still shine in a team with Keqing as the main DPS, as each Geo character can generate shields for this Electro Vision user. Albedo can bring support damage to Keqing with his Solar Arcitomas. Zhongli and Noel can offer their abilities to create shields to Keqing. Ningguang can provide support damage as the team's sub-DPS. Finally, the Geo Traveler can boost the party's crit rate with his or her elemental burst. In summary, players may choose to take advantage of Keqing's electro or physical damage capabilities when building a team with her as the main DPS. An electro team with Keqing as the main DPS might be more expensive since it may require some 5-star characters for optimal damage, especially when the electro charge reaction is in focus. A team built for Overlord is also a viable option, although players would need to run around the field to chase enemies because of the explosions. On the other hand, a Keqing team built around her physical damage capabilities might be a less expensive option since it would allow players more choices, including using free-to-play characters. This video might have some mistakes as I'm making and editing it alone. If there is any clarifications that you might want to imply, or if you have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to leave a comment down at the comment section. As always, have fun while playing Genshin Impact. I'm JJ, and I'll see you in the next one.